white stripes?
Yes. Red Nation Army. Guys, welcome to the Community Hotline, for the community, by the community. I am your host, Bob Fang. It's presented by 88 Real Estate Media, and today we have community member Jake over here. Why don't you introduce yourself, good sir?
All right. My name is Jake Ross. I'm a professor at the University of Southern California. I'm originally from Canada, and I'm happily living in Los Angeles right now.
Okay, awesome. Kind of going through some, I guess topics of the day that we're going to go over. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about love. The rules are there is no cursing. So if you do curse, you'll get a first strike. If you second strike for the second one, and a third strike on the third one. So let's just get right into it then. First topic of the day is going to be money. Tell us, what is money?
Money is something that is used in exchange for goods and services, I take it. So it's fairly universal, all right? It can be exchanged for just about anything. It has an agreed upon value. That's, probably not the best definition, but that's what comes top of my head.
Okay. Well, why do you think money's not taught in schools as a teacher yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. I couldn't tell you why that's the case. I think it ought to be, probably. I think that there's lots of things that would be very useful for kids to learn that they don't. And how to handle money, I think how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money, how to keep track of your money, etc. All these things would be useful for people to learn. I certainly, when I was growing up, we did not learn this in school. And I'll take your word for it. I do not know the extent to which students are learning that now, but if they're not learning it, that strikes me as a defect. I think it's something people should learn, obviously pretty important and useful.
Right. How where's your understanding of money coming from? Is it from your parents? Is it from YouTube, or and how has it changed since you were younger?
Well, I would say the main change in my relationship to money is I went from having none to having some. All right. So when I was young, I was like completely dependent on my parents. And I never made a lot of money from I made a little bit of money from jobs, whatever, as a kid, but not very much. So most of my money I got from my parents. So I think that created a kind of constant sense of guilt around money. I kind of felt like I didn't deserve the money that I had, and I felt guilty about spending it, and I felt anxious about not having money in the future. So I had money anxiety when I was young.
I love it. I think more of a bigger topic is our second topic, which is education.
All right.
You probably have wealth of knowledge on. I guess how does someone get through their master's degree? How does someone get through their PhD? I mean, just from your personal experience.
Well, a lot of people don't. A master's degree is quite different from a PhD. So a master's degree is something a person might do in a year or two, whereas a PhD will typically take 5-6 years, sometimes longer. It used to be people would do a master's before a PhD. Now, at least in the humanities, at least in many fields, you can go straight from the BA to the PhD. So a master's is something you get if you drop out of the PhD program after having completed your coursework, they might give you a master's as like a consolation prize type thing. Or let's suppose you did not do, suppose you want to do a PhD in one program, but you did your undergraduate education in something else. All right. So you didn't really feel qualified to enter, or you didn't think the program would regard you as qualified to enter the program right away, then you could do a master's as a transition. So you did your undergrad in field X, you want to move to field Y, so you do a master's in field Y, and then you can do a PhD in field Y, that kind of thing. So anyway, as far as the PhD, it's a much longer process, and it has an attrition rate. All right, so there's a fair number of people who may drop out partway through the program, and even the ones who don't drop out through the program, it's not unusual to think about dropping out in the middle of the program or to wonder if you're doing the right thing. I mean, those kinds of doubts, I think, are pretty common. Um,
Mhm. Okay, I think that those kind of doubts a lot of students face themselves, right? What would you say is the what is your opinion on the current state of education then?
um, I would say that my opinion on the current state of education is lukewarm. Um,
What does that mean?
oh, well, it's not terrible, but it's not incredibly enthusiastic. All right. So when I say it's not terrible, I think people are better off getting educated than not getting educated overall. Um, but I think that the kind of education people are getting is not wonderful. All right.
Do you have an example?
All right. I think in some ways things have improved.
Okay, I love it. All right, moving on to our third and last topic of the day, which is love. Tell me, how do you feel pressure to get married?
No, zero. Um, So when I say I certainly don't feel any external pressure. Like nobody in my family is like, when are you going to get married, etc. Um, yeah, no, nobody ever at any point in my entire life has ever exerted one iota of pressure on me to get married. Um, so any pressure I might feel would be internal.
Mm,
So sometimes I'm like, Jake, you should get married. So I might have that internal voice telling me that, but no external pressure.
okay. And then here's a philosophical question: what is love?
What is love? Okay. Um, so love is something like an attitude. All right. Uh, it's an attitude that humans and other animals have, typically towards other humans or other animals of the same species. All right. Let's focus on humans. All right. So, love is, I mean, the word love can be used in many ways. It could just be used to mean something like enjoyment or strong liking, like I love ice cream, I love skiing. But I think typically when people ask what is love, they're interested in the attitude that a human being can have towards another human being. Um, Now, when you're thinking about emotions, attitudes, etc., it's always useful to think, what is the function? What function does this attitude serve? All right. And it seems like the function of love is primarily something like bonding. All
Mm,
right. So it creates bonding within families, it creates bonding in terms of sexual partners, and it creates bonding among.
I love it. So, guys, if you're listening and you can get Mr. Jake back to Canada to see his mother, that would be very much helpful for him. If you guys, if you got an uncle or a dad that works for the government and they can charter a flight, uh, that would be of excellent help. Thank you guys for joining us. Before I forget, 88 Real Estate Media is looking for members to join the oversight committee to build the best mindfulness school in Southern California. If you're interested, shoot us a message. Also, if you do business in the real estate industry, please do consider hiring 88 Real Estate Media. And before we leave, I just want to give a shout out to you real quick, Jake. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm sure you check this out all the time. But yeah, Mr. Jake Ross is a professor at USC. Check him out on Rate My Professor. Take his class. His top rating tags are participation matters. He is hilarious. Don't skip his class because you won't pass. And he gives amazing lectures. So guys, check it out. Do you have you ever been on that? Ray, my professor, have you looked at your stats?
Not in a while, but I have in the past.
Okay, great. Do you have any last words for the audience?
Um, Last words. Have a nice rest of your day.
And you as well.
Thank you.